Hello, everyone, and welcome to a very special video edition of the Blues podcast. I'm Ryan Robinson, and I'm delighted to bring you, the Blues family, this update about the current state of play by speaking to various different figures at the club. Let's get straight into things then and hear from Director of Rugby, Mike Rea. Pleased to be joined here on Zoom by Director of Rugby, Mike Rea, to talk about the current state of play for the club at the moment and rugby in general. Mike, I guess the easiest place to start is how have you been keeping these last 3 months?
Yeah, I guess like every other person, extremely frustrated, I suppose. Like I did have all the symptoms of COVID-19, for about 17, 18 days, and it was pretty scary, really. So, look, I know how bad it is to have it, and it was probably a day away from going into hospital myself, really, because obviously the final straw was kind of the lack of shortness of breath, really. So thankfully I came out the other side of it and got better and better as time's gone on, and I got back on my feet pretty quickly post symptoms. So delighted with that. Obviously frustrated, as I said, like most of the country with lockdown, but look, it's necessary, and I guess we all have to deal with it in our own individual way.
Yeah, it's been tough times for us all. I guess it's tough also for the players and your playing group. I guess it's just been trying to keep in touch with them, make sure they're following, exercise regimes and that kind of thing, ready for when we do come back.
Yeah, look, the club made the decision to furlough everybody, including myself. So really, the only thing we can do is trust, that they're quite common sense. A lot of the lads, show common sense to the lads, and keep their individual training up. They've been around a lot of the lads who were retaining, so they should know what they do within reason. Although I guess with the recent lockdowns, they can probably go off to a park now and train in groups of 6 if they want to. But really, just trying to keep in touch with them through email or a couple of phone calls. I probably should have been on the phone a little bit more to them than I have been, but it's just been a crazy time with the goalposts changing every single day, whether it's through government policy or waiting for news out of the RFU. And really, my phone calls won't be centred around well-being, really, and how they're feeling, and how they're actually dealing with this situation. So it's more of a just having a picking up the phone and having a chat with people, making sure their well-being is in order.
And I guess that £1 million question is: do you know any time for the fans to say when we could see some kind of rugby, when they could be coming back?
Oh, look, I think if we're honest, realistically, hopefully we can get in, sometime in the autumn, whether it's mid to late October to start pre-season, and probably looking at December at best case. And possibly, a January, a new year, new start. But again, we're all absolutely waiting for that little bit of light at the end of the tunnel, which I'm sure the RFU will hopefully give us in the middle of July.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, safety is obviously the first thought of all of us here. Would you prefer to say wait six weeks to have crowds in, or would you prefer to start earlier and have games with no fans? Would you prefer to wait? How would you choose if it was up to you?
Well, look, the thing I think, the ray of hope for everybody obviously is New Zealand have started with crowds, and obviously that's due to their handling of the situation. And it was great to see the Premiership football up and running as well, but albeit behind closed doors. But there's no two ways about it. For the Championship to survive next season, we have to have people through the turnstiles. Our crowd and our supporters are massively important to us, and not least in this current time. We've had some real positive news from sponsors. Obviously, the Gilbert kit news was announced yesterday. So there's little bits of positivity around around the fringes of the rugby, the business side of the rugby. Obviously, we want to get out there and get a ball in our hands and start knocking lumps out of each other, I guess. So, but I guess in the meantime, we've got to show some patience. hopefully, given our situation at Bedford and such as the connection with the club and the town and the business in the town, when we do get back at it, I think looking at the bigger picture, we've got a great chance to be a fantastic model at championship level with the crowd through the gate, and as I said, the businesses coming to the fore really, and we'll need them all. I was only at the supermarket yesterday, and some fella I've probably never seen before wished us all good luck, and was really positive about can't wait to get back there and have a few beers with his mates and hopefully as I said, get the business up and running again.
Yeah, I mean, you've often said to me that you're 15 years into a 3-year plan. Looking at that whole time, is this one of the toughest challenges you've had to deal with? But are you also relishing this and trying to get over it?
Yeah, look, I thought I'd seen it all in 15 years. There's different scenarios crop up every year, and we have to deal with them. And in the first few years, obviously, major panic set in. But obviously, through experience, now you get to learn to deal with whether it's a player leaving or we had a bout of gastroenteritis in the camp a couple of years ago before the London Scottish game. So you have to firefight a bit, and you have to learn to keep the plate spinning. But this is certainly different, massively different. And look, the club have rightly taken a cautious approach. To it. I know we haven't had many player announcements at the moment, but we have got 10 players under contract next year anyway, who are on 2-year deals, and we've got a couple more who we've kind of promised a contract to. So look, we've got a great core of players to start off with, and hopefully over the next coming weeks and months, then the board will once they get a start date, then we'll release some funds to conclude our squad really. And we're probably, if I'm honest, we're looking at more of a retention type process this year, but due to financial obviously constraints, it was tough before COVID came in, but obviously we're faced with some RFU cuts anyway, so we're having to cut our cloth. COVID has added to that, so we look to hopefully forge some good relationships with premierships for loans and dual red. So they'll should be a bit of news coming out on that very shortly.
Yeah, and I guess that's news that all fans will welcome, obviously. I mean, are you looking at a core squad then of, say, 20 players, and then we look to bolster it elsewhere? Is that kind of the thing we're going to look into?
Yeah, look, the final core squad is, we haven't sort of set a definitive number on that. But obviously, it'll come down to finances, I guess. But as I said, we've got 10, 12 players with us next year for sure, and hopefully we'll add to that with some existing players and maybe one or two if the board allow it to bolster that. We've lost a few backs already this year, so we probably need a little bit of a strengthening process there. We're happy with the forwards, got 4 props in place, so that was the first starting point. So in terms of the cornerstone, we've got our front row in order, and we've still got Temi and Joe Atkinson in the back row as well. So Jordan Jaffe second row. So like the spine of the team is looking okay at the moment, and if we can add some exciting young talent to that, then that's what keeps me going during the dark days, because there's no doubt it's frustrating, and obviously being under furlough, it's even more frustrating for me personally. But I guess we've got to deal with it, and every time I sit down and have a look at the names that we got in place, and potentially having some exciting players to that, then it cheers me up no end.
Yeah, and I guess it does cheer you up through those tough days. I mean, how proud will you be once the sport gets back and you'll be able to lead the squad again into a championship season? Yeah,
look, we're really looking forward to it. I think it is tough looking too far ahead, and at this moment in time, I don't think we're looking beyond the end of this season. Really want to get through the next season, and then we'll have a clearer picture of where we sit within the RFU structure, and obviously the budget will be key to that, and we'll have probably 6 to 8 months to prepare for the following season, which hopefully we'll see a bit of normality coming back into the UK. So it's a little bit, day to day can be different depending on news and moods, and but I keep looking at the bigger picture, and I'm pretty confident that Bedford Blues has got a massive future, and we'll soon return to having 2,500 people into the turnstiles, and people coming to enjoy the matchday experience, which we've worked hard to get to over the last 15 years. Listen, keeping your ear to the ground, I guess that's going to maintain, and I'm guessing all the supporters are mad keen to get back to Golden Road and see some great rugby and obviously enjoy the matchday experience.
Yeah, I mean, we've touched on it throughout this interview, but it's fair to say that the support from sponsors and fans has been really good throughout this time, and it's keeping us going, and it must be keeping you going to know that you've got people supporting you.
Yeah, definitely. There's no doubt about it. Seeing people, pictures of people with face masks on, that amuses me. And now we're selling sliders as well. I mean, fair play. The wheels of commerce are in full imagination mode, and I won't be wearing any of them myself personally, but it's great to see that people can support the club in any which way they can. And, I know the backroom staff at the club have been working hard at finding different ideas, and you've got to be creative in these situations, because of obviously matchday revenue is huge to us. So looking forward to the next new item that's going to appear on the website.
And I guess the right place to end this sort of interview is maybe, do you have a short message to the Blues family that are waiting to come back, supporting the club throughout this time? Do you just have a little message for them?
Yeah, look, I think the massive message is stay safe. Look, we've come so far, and obviously there's no doubt people have been affected by this in one way or another, and we've come so far, and it's only a couple of months of a few months of lockdown, hopefully, to go, and they'll ease, and again we'll get that date in mind for start date, and we wouldn't have thought. Somebody said to me 12 weeks ago, you're going to be shut down, shut away for 3 months. I would have thought I'd be climbing the walls by now. But you find activities, whether it's walking, trying to stay healthy, cooking for yourself and cooking healthily, staying away from the drinks fridge. That's a challenge. But look, the main thing for the supporters is just to stay safe, show some patience, keep supporting the club, and we'll all have a great crack when we're back here in hopefully in sort of December, January.
Delighted to now be joined on the Blues podcast by the club's Chief Operating Officer, Gareth Allred, to talk a bit more about off-field matters at Goldington Road. Gareth, I was hoping you might be able to start with a progress report in terms of the club's position at this current time.
Yeah, look, it's been a challenging time for all of us, especially obviously the staff and players who've been furloughed, and managing that process has not been easy, as you can imagine. And actually, even for the few people who are left, myself and you, plus finance, there's been significant pay cuts to obviously deal with this period and obviously make sure we come through it. That said, there's starting to be a bit of light at the end of the tunnel, and we've been working really hard on a lot of initiatives to make sure that we both engage with supporters and also find opportunities for them to obviously play a part in helping us through this difficult period and hopefully come out stronger.
Yeah, the key question at this time, supporters are asking about season tickets. Is there any potential update that you could perhaps provide today?
Yeah, look, we were due to launch season tickets the week that lockdown come into play, so quite difficult and challenging around that. And actually, it'd be quite irresponsible of us to launch season tickets whilst we don't know the competition structure yet. Next year, we also don't know the playing dates, fixture releases. So At the moment, everything is set and ready to go, but we're awaiting some answers from the RFU before being able to put some of that into action and give our supporters more information. I think supporters have been great, understanding that, but also being really good at either donating or supporting or crediting their value from last season. So, we're not in a bad place around that, and we're looking forward to getting them on sale whenever we can do.
Yeah, it's fair to say supporters have really helped the clubs throughout this time through things like shop sales and the other club things we've started to put out.
Yeah, absolutely. I should probably rewind to what I said there. We come out with a communications plan straight after we knew the season would no longer be going ahead, and asked supporters to either consider donating the value of their purchases, crediting the value of their purchases for next season, or if it needs to be refunding those purchases. And obviously a lot of people are in very challenging scenarios, so it would be, again, irresponsible of us not to kind of offer that situation. And supporters of Bedford, it's more than just the rugby club, it's the town's club, and we're very lucky to have people who care passionately about us. So, we were very pleased with the outcome. The board and all of us here were delighted at the show of support from the town. That said, then we've kind of taken it to the next stage and rolled out some initiatives. The shop has been going really well with a few sales hooks. We brought in the face masks, sold 1,000 of them. We've also brought in lots of different opportunities, including name on the shirt, name on the wall. I think there's names everywhere around this ground now, and we've been delighted with the response we've had. Again, not surprising, this club has had some very dark hours in years gone by and always managed to survive and come out stronger. So, we're just viewing this as another challenge and trying to find ways to be able to communicate and engage with supporters.
Yeah, and with that, sponsors have been crucial also. You've sort of spearheaded that marketing campaign, and the club's in a really good place at this current time.
Yeah, I should edge it with a bit of caution. Look, we're not in a bad place with what we've done to date, but we're far from out of this, and there's a lot of challenges ahead. And actually, the worrying picture is not right now. It's in a few months' time, and obviously there's so many unknowns about how rugby will return, how it will look like, what dates we'll be able to get underway. And actually, a lot of the government schemes have aided us getting through to this stage. When that starts to drop away, there's a pretty large gulf. So we need to make sure that we can get our business in operation as soon as possible. But in answer to your question about sponsors, that they've been fantastic. Again, it goes back to that kind of local impact. This is a local club with a real community feel, and therefore supporters don't want to lose that from the centre of their town. It's been interesting speaking to a few sponsors, and the real need and value placed in not just making sure the club is there for the next season, but making sure the club is there for their grandchildren and great-grandchildren to enjoy. So, we've been very lucky. The shirt is complete with sponsorship. We've been very lucky to have many sponsors come on board or increase their support level. That said, again, urging caution that there's been some sponsors who are unable to commit. So, we're not in a bad place, but there's a lot of opportunity left. Anybody who fancies picking up the phone, there's always an opportunity to support the club.
Yeah, and one of those new sponsors for next season, Gilbert, the new kit deal has been announced. Is there any word when fans can perhaps maybe see the jerseys for next season?
Put me on the spot a little bit there, right? I would like to hope that we'll be September, October time for launch. Like I said, it's very difficult based on not knowing when the season starts, and also bearing in mind the challenges that Gilbert face. That they're currently in the same position where nearly all their staff are furloughed. Luckily, they do manufacture in the UK as well, so they have got some timescales. Obviously, they have got operations based in Asia as well, so we're a bit of an unknown, but they've been great to work with. Richard Gray has been, really supportive of this club, and we're actually really happy. I should talk about the partnership itself. Is that Gilbert feels like a really good fit. I'm sat here with two blue shirts behind me, designed by Zoo. Zoo were fantastic for many years, and thank you to David and the team there. But Gilbert feel a real natural fit with us. They're They're about history, heritage, tradition, three values that the Blues share. So, yeah, looking forward to getting that line out there, and not just the shirts, but also the whole leisure range. Quite excited by what that will look like.
Yeah, positive news coming out of the club at the moment. One of those is that we've launched the Blues women's team for next season. I guess that's, you know, really exciting progress for the club ahead of the new campaign.
Yeah, again, should pass credit here to Mark Stapley. He's done a fantastic job of really getting that running. Mark I think he's a great ambassador for the club across the board. He set up the kind of girls' junior teams. He's also a community coach with the Blues directly. And, you know, I think one of his ambitions is to give them a pathway. It fitted a lot of our goals and aims. One of those came out of the Women's International we hosted in November here. And we really saw the impact firsthand that women's rugby was having in this community. And we wanted to play our part in it, you know, and again, future-proofing the club and having different strands and different organisations. We felt that we needed to be seen in the women's team. We've had some really nice messages. Maggie Alfonsi has already sent us a very kind message supporting that. And yeah, I'm pretty excited by that. But, you know, they've driven it. It will be heavily based at Bedford Athletic and using the 3G surface. But we hope to see a couple of games here at Golden Road. And already we've had some people inquiring over sponsorship and wanting to support that angle of the club. So, yeah, great to have a wider foundation for the club to base itself on.
Yeah, and carrying on the club's positive news at this time, we'll hear shortly from the Blues Foundation manager, Tom Harwood. Just wondering maybe if you could swap hats for a moment. You are a trustee of the Blues Foundation. How pleasing have the first few months been?
Yeah, absolutely. Tom's done a great job. I should start with that. Really pleased with the progress and what he's been able to do, hit the ground running. We were quite worried appointing our foundation manager in amongst a crisis like COVID. Yet we've been really lucky to find somebody in Tom who's not just hit the ground running, but been able to find the grants and support and almost give us another engagement tool with the community. And you know, the Run Row Ride campaign supporting meals for the vulnerable across Bedfordshire has been really successful. A lot of work still to do. It's not an issue just right now. It's going to continue, I think, for a few months ahead. But also in different areas and planning, different organisations, we've been given, I guess, a different opportunity, more of a CSR piece. And I'm pretty excited by the ground we're making there. Again, caution that we've got a long way to go, but we are making good early strides there. And again, talking about that pyramid and different opportunities for the club and our biggest value of being sustainable, I guess, it puts us in a much better place. So I'm very happy with the progress, but I'll let Tom talk more about that. He's been the driving force behind it.
Pleased to now be joined on the Blues podcast by Foundation Manager Tom Harwood. Tom, it's been a whirlwind first 3 months for the Blues Foundation since your appointment and the receipt of full charity status. Can you just start things off with a progress update on where things currently are?
Absolutely, yeah. So it's been a really positive start. Actually, we've had some really good feedback and some clear support from the wider community across Bedford, and also sort of partners and people that we plan to work with across the county. It's a really challenging time at the minute, especially for our kind of charity sector, but there's a lot of support available. And actually, because of the work that we're being able to do and put in now, we're being able to plan a lot for the future and what our delivery looks like. And we've got, you know, one very clear vision at the foundation, and that is to support people to make the right life choices and help their development, and use rugby values to really kind of instill strong community work. And we've got 3 delivery pillars that really underpin that vision. The first of which being well-being and supporting people's physical and mental health, which is incredibly important, especially in times like this. Creating inclusive opportunities for people to experience rugby and sport in general, especially with disability work, and making sure that there's the right opportunities for people to try exercise and rugby. Also, you'd have seen hopefully that the Blues launch the women's section as well. So there'll be some more opportunities around that down our inclusivity pillar, and also around our third pillar being skills, and using education and skills to develop people and really harness resilience, employability, education, and taking that into the wider community. And although we've launched at a time where restrictions stop us from going out and doing lots of sort of face-to-face delivery, actually we've already been able to go out and raise funds for meals across Bedfordshire, which has been fantastic to have funded the 1,500 meals already through the efforts of people getting involved in our Run Row Ride campaign. And just a huge thank you to everybody that is either donated or contributed to the funding towards that program. We're going out and we're reaching some people in some really hard to reach areas of Bedford and across the county, really, just trying to help bridge that gap in a period, in a time of the year which is incredibly tough.
1,500 meals is obviously a fantastic effort so far. How can people continue to get involved with the Run Row Ride campaign?
Yeah, so 1,500 meals is fantastic. It's a great, people are really getting behind a local cause, but actually hunger, poverty, and those kind of issues aren't going away quickly. This pandemic the impact of that is going to be lasting for months to come. So there is still an opportunity to donate and to get involved in the Run Row Ride campaign, which is funding these meals. You can run or walk 3K and donate £3. We're encouraging people to row 6K and donate £6, or ride 9 kilometres and donate £9. And it's a great way actually to be physically active, as well as setting yourself some personal challenges too, and getting behind a local cause. And that's what's really captured people's imagination. Actually, we've seen people running, walking, rowing on rowing machines, but also going out on paddle boards. We've seen people riding their bikes, but also doing their kind of 6 kilometres or however long they want to ride for on horses as well. So people are being incredibly creative, and every pound funds a meal. So we're really lucky to work with portfolio events that are able to provide these meals at cost for £1, and so every pound raised helps fund another meal. And we're already seeing the impact. The program has been going for a month, and we've had some really nice quotes from some of the people that are benefiting from this, with some really impactful stuff around mental health and keeping people positive during this period, all because of that support that we're getting from the wider Blues supporters, but also the wider public that are picking up on this campaign.
Yeah, and the Run Row Ride campaign is going to carry on throughout the COVID-19 crisis, but are you also planning to do anything else? You plan to launch anything in the sort of coming months?
So we've got lots of things planned, and they're all going to be tied in with those 3 delivery pillars. We've been fortunate to secure some funding through the RFU and Sport England to really focus on family engagement. So when restrictions allow us to, we can do that. We've got some events that will be coming up when time allows us to help raise funding and raise money for the foundation, with dinners and fundraising events on the Blues Days. So lots of things in the pipeline, lots of planning, and lots of work with the right people to make sure that our work is going to have the biggest impact as possible. And that's the key thing here. We really want our work at the foundation to extend into that wider community and impact on the right people for the right reasons, and that's really important to us.
Yeah, and you recently launched the Blues Foundation Champion Scheme. Can you maybe explain a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so our Foundation Champion Scheme is a great way to support the work we do. It's a monthly subscription, and you can donate as much or as little as you prefer. And at the minute we're promoting that scheme. It's a great opportunity to get involved, and as part of that, there are rewards and there are things that we'll be releasing for people that sign up to that campaign. You'll be getting quarterly newsletters, but also some more. There will be prizes, there will be rewards for being part of that scheme, and that's really important because that gives an opportunity for people across Bedford and across Bedfordshire to really support our work and really see the value of that money going back out into the community, using rugby values to hopefully improve lifestyle choices for people across our area.
And some really positive news recently that, Blues and England legend Budge Rogers has become the first Blues Foundation ambassador. I guess he was the perfect candidate to try and help your work across the region.
Absolutely. To have somebody of Budge's calibre and influence and experience is just fantastic for us. A great opportunity really for us to use his experience around charity fundraising, and obviously he comes with just a huge wealth of experience around RFU, around the Blues, and is a real talisman and really passionate about the work that we do and passionate about our local area. And hopefully as time goes on, we're going to have more ambassadors come on board to support the foundation, but also really to demonstrate what we can do out locally. There'll be for a variety of ages, backgrounds, a variety of people that would really celebrate and drive our work.
People who are listening or potentially watching this interview might be looking to get involved with the Blues Foundation. Could you just maybe explain some of the ways that they could help support the charity?
Yeah, so we've got lots of different ways that people can get involved and support the work we do, both from fundraising, but also to get involved. There'll be volunteering opportunities. There'll be a real chance to put something back into the community through the work we do. I've mentioned the Champion Scheme already, which is a great opportunity for people to contribute towards our work, but we've got some partnership packages that are geared towards kind of business support, and by all means people can talk to me about that. We've got we're just about to launch a link with Amazon Smile, where for people that are regular users of Amazon and shopping can select the Blues Foundation as a way to Amazon then put money back into the charity for a donation. We've also, the club has been fantastic in promoting the face masks, and £1 of those, every one of those face masks sold comes back to the foundation, and that's brilliant, and that's generated over £900 already back to the foundation, which is fantastic. If you want to learn more about the foundation, obviously visit the website. We're across all social media platforms as well. Just search the Blues Foundation. You can get in touch with me directly through info@bluesfoundation.org.uk, and I'd be more than happy to answer any questions, talk about the opportunities, and talk further about some of the work we do, because there's some really exciting opportunities for us, and really really exciting events, projects, and opportunities for people to get involved with our work.
That's all we've got time for on this month's very special video edition of the Blues Podcast. Thank you very much for listening. We're hoping to continue bringing you even more exciting content over the coming days and weeks, so stay tuned to our club website and our social media channels to see what we can come up with. At the very heart of Bedford Blues is the concept of family and unity. We urge all Blues supporters to continue following government advice and putting themselves and those around them first. Stay safe, everyone, and see you all soon.